Well, hello out there, you great lands of video watchers. How you doing tonight? This is the MCU's Bleeding Edge. I am your co-host, Cybernetic Shark, here with my trusty sidekick, as always, my other co-host, Mr. Jeff S, aka True Knowledge. How we doing, Jeff?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, bro. I'm in a different place now, bro. I might
Different.
need to. I might need to go to therapy after this experience.
All right, so you might have to go to therapy. All right. Anyways, folks, as you can tell by the advertisements, we are going to be reviewing Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. That's right, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So this came out November 11th. About let's see, what's the today? It's the 23rd, so 12 days ago. I saw it opening night. I believe Jeffrey just saw it just today. So he's
Hey,
a
hey,
lot
but hey,
fresher than I am.
hey, but I got to see it with my son though, bro. So hey, it was worth it.
He got to see it with his son. Awesome. All right. So this film, which is the 30th, by the way, 30th Marvel Studios film, just ending phase 4 of the MCU. We'll be starting, of course, phase 5 in February with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium. But this is the finale of phase 4, which a lot of people have been going, oh, phase 4 seems really long. And yes, it kind of has been. And it's definitely been a rebuilding year. This movie, you could tell, was a part of that rebuilding. And there's not much to say, but at the same time, there's a lot to say. So it's going to be interesting to talk about it. Anyways, so of course, this is once again is directed by Ryan Coogler. He directed the first Black Panther. He also directed such films as Fruitvale Station, the first Creed film. And that's I have a feeling that's the reason why we saw Michael B. Jordan in the first film, is because of, him and Ryan Coogler already working together as Killmonger in the first Black Panther, which he also returns in this one too. We got an interesting little scene there, which I thought a lot of people were probably like, like, that's awesome. I'm glad I got to see that. We wanted him to come back. A lot of people were like, So I'm sure a lot of people were happy about that. So this was actually probably the second longest MCU film out there between this and Infinity War, clocking in at 2 hours and 41 minutes. Of course, the longest of the MCU so far is Endgame, of course, at 3 hours and 1 minute. So it was surprising how long this film was. I feel with how long the film was, it didn't seem to like drag on. It seemed pretty like it went pretty consistently with the material that it went with. So that was I thought really good, at least with this film. Now, both me and Jeff here have both had thought about this film a little bit here. And I myself, this one, it was not my favorite of the MCU films. It definitely was a lackluster. I definitely thought that this was going to have a lot more heat to it, especially with, Chadwick Boseman's death, passing, and so forth and stuff like that. The extra year or so that they added to make this movie. And unfortunately, I have put this at the very end of my list of MCU rankings. And I was really shocked at, I just was expecting so much more from this film. And to close out phase 4 with this film, I thought it was going to have to be, jaw dropping, get you out there, kicking butt type of feel. And it did not do that. Jeff, do you feel the same, sir?
It was. I mean, it was definitely jaw dropping when when Shuri pulled her version of Chadwick's fucking Wakanda Forever, and I almost fucking died. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?" I almost left the theater. I was like, "Seriously, Shuri? Like, seriously? Come on now! Don't even say that shit at that point." Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, why ruin that shit like that? It was, dude, Jar Jar could have said that, done that shit better and more authentically.
You heard it here, people. He thought Jar Jar Binks could have done it better.
Hey, Cyber already knows. I think they should have had Robert Pattinson as Black Panther, personally, but
That's what he has said. Yep,
Yeah.
he did say that. He did say that.
Hey, you know shit's rough over there over in Wakanda and whatnot when you gotta have fucking white dudes go over and be Black Panther, bro.
Yeah, there you go, people. All right, so this film introduced us to Namor for the first time. This is our first time seeing this character live action. To give a little bit of history of who Namor is, he is a mutant. He was created as a mutant in the comics. His first appearance in a comic was in the Motion Pictures Funniers Weekly #1 issue, released in April 1939. So he's been around a long time. He has been around for 83 years. So this is not a new character. So we've seen a lot of iterations of him the last 83 years. And I mean, I thought for the most part, they did a good job of, making him similar to the character. They definitely took some, liberties and stuff like that with certain things, but they did keep him mutant. They did keep him, king, and they did have him have his, little, feet thing, wingies like a Cupid, which I always found really funny. I always found that very funny. Like, why did they give him that power? I just thought that was always a funny power. And he is also half human as well, for those that did not know that. And, they basically, he actually, his father was a human and his mother was Atlantean. So he's not Talokan as they made him in the movie. He is Atlantean. He is the king of Atlantis. And they were trying to, basically, I feel, differentiate him from Aquaman because Aquaman became so popular. So most definitely. So I thought he was not too bad. I thought, Tanak Hirati Majai, I thought he did a pretty decent job. I thought he wasn't too bad. I thought he could have been better, but at the same time, I thought he did a pretty decent job. What are your thoughts on Tanak's performance, Jeff?
He had to work what they gave him, right? I mean, he didn't write the movie. It's that simple. He did his job, and I mean, he didn't write the story. He didn't plan it. He played his role, right? So at that point, I mean, he probably could have pulled off a stronger performance overall towards the end and whatnot if it had been done differently and whatnot. But sadly, the way that they dovetailed things out and whatnot and everything and decided that no matter what, every fucking black woman in the movie had to be perfect, more intelligent than everybody, better than everybody, stronger than everybody, more patient than everybody. If they did get like impulsive or pissed off or whatever, or get all crazy and whatnot, it was for a good reason. It was profound. It somehow worked out and fixed things or whatever. Like, I mean, essentially they were like they were Jesus Christ reborn, basically, And I mean, seriously, the one fucking Darja Malay chick looked like a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, what the fuck? Was that a trans Darja Malay? I mean, what's going on there? I don't even know. Who knows? But why not? Fuck it. No, he was great. No, he was good. I have no complaints with him at all. As far as I'm concerned, he certainly warranted more use, right? He certainly warranted more, if anything, more use than they had for him already in the MCU.
Most certainly. So they also brought in to the film. They brought in Namora as well, who is the cousin of Namor. Throughout the film, it was kind of weird, the relationship, and I didn't feel like they were cousins in the film. It didn't seem like they were cousins, so I thought that was kind of strange. So I had to look it up to see if they're supposed to be cousins in the film versus how they were in the comics. And it says that she was supposed to be his cousin, but how the relationship was, I almost felt like it was his girlfriend almost.
It was like some Targaryen action, baby.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting how they had that thing. But for you that are not familiar with Namora, she's another character that was originally comics as well. She actually didn't make her appearance for another 8 years after Namor made his first appearance. She was actually a part of the Marvel Mystery Comics number 82, which came out in May 1947. So I thought that was kind of interesting that, they decided, oh, we're going to bring Namor right into this, not just kind of focus on Namor. But I thought that was cool. I didn't think the actress was that great, but I thought that it was interesting that at least they brought in Namor along with that. Yes, Jeff.
But what does that tell you, though, Cyber? Stan Lee and Marvel didn't plan things the way that they planned this shit. They didn't think about woke shit when they made their decisions and whatnot, right? They had practical reasons for their things, for their timing and how they've used characters, right? There was an actual reason for things. They didn't just force them in, right? You know what I mean? Like, there you go. You just literally right there. You basically just sort of you right there, that one short statement completely explained the dichotomy, the difference between the Stan Lee version of Marvel versus the woke Hollywood version of Marvel.
There you go. All right, so we also have the introduction of Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, which me and Jeff have already discussed. Kind of, she kind of was pointless in this film. She didn't really
Hot D.
Yeah, just like that, Hot D. She basically, she was okay. I thought the actress that played her wasn't too bad. But at the same time, I thought she was kind of how they, introduced her, how they added her into it. It didn't really serve a really great purpose, I thought. I mean, the whole, like, she's the person that created the vibranium machine and stuff like that, which I just didn't get that whole subplot, and that idea. I just didn't think it really played well into the film. And but at the same time, I thought, like, if you're going to introduce such a, supposedly great comic character, you would have a better entrance for this character. And at the same time, this character has only been around since 2016. So this isn't a very old character. It's very new. It's very recent. It's only been around for 6 years. She came out in May 2016. She was in her first appearance was in the Invincible Iron Man #7 from 2016. So this is a very new character, which I found that, they brought her in so quickly. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But like I was saying, I didn't think she was that great. What else did you have about Ironheart, Jeff? Was there anything else you have about Ironheart?
Just that. Now, again, I just want to premise, folks. Due to me being true knowledge, of course, I of course, made a very strategic decision in going in the wrong theater to watch the movie tonight, and sat in an empty theater in darkness with nothing going on the screen for a long time. Don't know why I didn't realize that something was not right. Don't know. Who knows? Things happen, right? But bottom line, either way, at the point that I realized that, after 47 minutes, nothing had occurred, obviously something was not happening. So I went to a different theater. And so sadly, I missed out on the Chadwick Boseman tribute part, right? Which would have probably been the only highlight for me out of the whole evening. That I probably would have actually enjoyed and appreciated. And, but then again, I already saw Angela Bassett's, intense, profound, UN speech deal in the trailer. I didn't need to see that again, right? It had its impact on me already. I'm not going to cry. I didn't cry the first time. I wasn't going to cry this time. At this point, I did cry a couple times towards the end of the movie. I won't lie, but for different reasons. They were not profound, let's just say. Basically, I was just crying for Chadwick, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, but nah, Chadwick, it's not your fault, bro. You ain't to blame. But now, as far as Ironheart goes, she is new. They did rush her. That's not normal. Marvel doesn't usually do that. That's not their thing. It's not their MO. And what does that tell you? It just doesn't seem productive to me. It doesn't seem logical to me, you know what I'm saying, to do that. Why go against the grain when you've already got something that works, that you've been doing consistently and whatnot and everything with your characters and everything? Miss Marvel had been around longer, right? She had been. She wasn't brand new. She was somewhat established. And even though she hasn't killed it in the comics, she has been more successful than Ironheart. So in general, if you ask comic book people, they'll tell you flat out they're not very fond of Ironheart. And if you watch the film, it'll be very apparent very quickly why. Basically, it will not be hard to figure out, but it's okay though, because she's perfect, can do no wrong, has every answer to everything, and somehow, again, like Cyber says, is not even from Wakanda, but knows more about vibranium than Shuri.
Very true, very true. Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting take that they took with the writing in this film, is having her so knowledgeable about vibranium and stuff like that. And in the comics, if I remember correctly, I briefly read one of the issues that she was in. She was not really aware of vibranium. It wasn't until really that the AI, the Tony Stark AI, really kind of hooked her on it at one point down the line that I recall seeing. So I thought it was kind of interesting that she was like right away knew exactly what to do with it and this and that. So I
And
thought,
she's an engineer, so how did she become a doctor all of a sudden in the movie too?
yeah, so that was like just kind of interesting how they decided to do that too as well. Definitely not the best way of dealing with it, I felt. There's a little brief history for you guys. So basically, the movie starts off with Suri trying to come up with a cure for T'Challa because he's dying of an illness. And in the illness, basically Shuri's trying to recreate the herb, the heart-shaped herb that was destroyed by Killmonger in the first film. And with her trying to figure this out, she keeps failing and she's not able to replicate it basically. And unfortunately, T'Challa succumbs to his illness. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way of starting off the film right off the bat, having it where T'Challa is not even dead yet. He's dying. And you don't even show him though. You don't see any remnants of him or anything like that. But you just see Shuri trying to come up with a cure for him and her basically kind of like becoming like self-loathing and stuff like that with how like she keeps getting sadder and sadder and upset with it. And I get that. I understand that, when you lose somebody you love, that I get that. But that was kind of how she played throughout the whole entire film, which just kind of got annoying and wasn't entertaining. It did not entertain. It didn't subscribe to Marvel. And I thought that was kind of weird that they decided to just make her kind of like this mopey character throughout the whole entire film. And I know some people are probably going to be like, well, that's to show emotion and this and that. And like, we're watching Marvel. It's action. It's action packed. It's about Marvel Universe. It's fantasy. It's not supposed to be unfun. It's not supposed to be. I get that some people enjoy that, but not everyone enjoys that. So you want to make a mixture of it, and a little bit here, a little bit there. I get that, but to keep it just solidly going throughout the whole entire film, it just to me seems pointless. And I felt that's kind of how they made Suri in this film because I thought she was really great in the first film. I absolutely love Letitia Wright in the first film. Thought she did a good job, her being kind of the gadget gal, her, creating all those cool things, saving, Everett Ross in the first film and stuff like that. She was fantastic. But then just turning her into this kind of like I said, self-loathing character, it did not fit, I felt. And it wasn't really a good send-off, I felt, to Chadwick, with how they did that. So most definitely not the greatest way of starting off the film. I thought they could have started off where they could have already they were just coming to the ceremony, he had already passed. I didn't think they needed that whole little section there of showing her trying to save his life. I didn't think that was very necessary. So basically that ends up happening. Then that's when we go to kind of like that homage to Chadwick. We get a great display of this big sign they have created with his picture on it, T'Challa Forever, basically. And they show basically what you see in the trailer. You see that scene. They show the Wakandans dancing in the white outfits and basically shows them walking down, paying tribute, doing a funeral, shows them go to kind of like this funeral thing that they do and like how they do it in Wakanda. And it was very poetic, but at the same time I felt that was another thing they could have done a little better too, giving even more homage to him versus we already pretty much saw it in the trailer. They gave us that right away, which I'm usually not a huge stickler for that type of thing when they show that kind of stuff in the trailer, but this I felt was a very important thing to do really well because Chadwick Boseman was such a great character. He was such a great actor, and the short little time that he had with the Marvel Universe was very impactful, especially that very first Black Panther film. So, what they did was nice, but at the same time, I thought they could have done it a little better, or even make it a little bit more tribute-ish. I thought for that. So Jeff, reiterate. Did you see? You didn't see any of that beginning sequence there, correct?
No. Unfortunately, I did not. And I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna go see the film again. I really don't. I don't know if I can. Just to see that scene. But I'm positive that at some point on YouTube, if somebody hasn't already put it up, somebody will, right? So I will see it. Most definitely. I mean, I love Chadwick Boseman, folks, just to be clear. As I've told Cyber several times now, I'm thinking about getting my first tattoo I've ever got in my life. And I'm legit serious about it for the first time, too. I want to actually do it, I think. And I think it's probably going to end up being Chadwick Boseman. Black Panther is probably going to be my first, tattoo. And of course, I'm probably going to get, accused of culture appropriation and who knows what else for that. I can't even imagine where that's going to go. I've already thought about that whole deal, but I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, my heroes are who they are. I don't give a fuck what color they are. They're my heroes because they're my heroes. So, you know what? It's that simple. Chadwick Boseman was one of my fucking heroes. And he'll always be one of my heroes. He's a goddamn lion of a man. You know what I'm saying? And, I'll tell you right now, if he'd been in that fucking film, different movie. Totally different fucking film.
100%. Totally agree. All right. So after that procession, of course, we have, of course, a little bit of the talking, with, the characters there, after the funeral, kind of Suri hit her mother and stuff like that too, as well. But then it pops to a year later, and a year later, they are at a United Nations kind of like conference to talk about, the vibranium and how they should be basically sharing the vibranium with the world because of all these types of threats and stuff like that. And, they, have basically suggest that, if you don't give us any, we will steal it by force. And basically that's when, Angela Bassett basically goes and starts this huge long speech and basically reiterates that no, this is basically for us, this is ours. If we decide to share it, we'll share it, but as this moment, you will not threaten us and this kind of thing and stuff like that. And basically that's when Ramona reiterates with Shuri that she needs keep working on trying to recreate the heart-shaped herb so we can basically make a new Black Panther to be able to protect Wakanda. And so they basically have kind of like they have that conversation a little bit, and basically Shuri basically comes back and is like, no, I don't really want to do it. I've lost faith. There's that mopiness again, that, self-loathing attitude. And basically, she's like, refuses to do it because she thinks, they're in a different time, that they don't need the Black Panther anymore. And because of the loss of her brother, she's still kind of dealing with that loss. And, basically that's, one of the reasons why she feels the way she does. And, that, basically that they don't need a Black Panther anymore, that she can basically build everything to protect Wakanda. So that's when it goes into the Atlantic Ocean. That's when we get that great sequence there where the CIA and the U.S. Navy SEALs are basically doing like this deep dive. And while they're down there, there's some weird things going on. They're looking to look at this machine that they had down there that was tracking vibranium. It stopped working, and they go down there, check on it, and see like that, and that it has stopped and stuff. All of a sudden, the two people that are in the dive suits basically disappear, and that's when all of a sudden the ship that the CIA people are on gets attacked by these creatures. And then we end up finding out that these creatures are, from Talokan, basically Atlantis. They are Namor's people. And basically they go on board and they start like attacking, and they have like this kind of battle sequences like that. And basically they're all blue skinned, water breathing superhumans. And after this battle, they, for some reason, the CIA starts believing that they think that Wakanda is responsible for it. So before we move on past that, so that beginning that sequence there, which I'm sure you saw, what were your thoughts on that? Did you feel there was any merit to that sequence there? Did you feel that there was anything about it that you enjoyed or you hated? And just overall, what did you think about that sequence of the film?
Well, we're talking about when Bale was involved, right?
No, the very beginning of the film.
Okay, okay.
Before Val comes in.
Okay. Now, again, I only caught the last little bit of it. I'll be honest with you, I did. And again, I don't know how deeply that's going to affect my general opinions on the film overall. It may have a bigger impact than I realize, or it may have lesser. I'm not sure. But at the same time, out of fairness to Cyber and to the audience and whatnot, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can talk about something I didn't even fucking see. I'm not magical like some other people. So at that point, the only thing I can honestly say is just that I do understand what went down. I get the premise. I get that essentially, that's when we essentially, come to the, I don't know if we come to the realization right then, but that's what we basically understand to some extent or see that I'm calling the Atlanteans. I don't even know how to pronounce whatever the fuck they're supposed to be called or whatever the movie. I don't even know, whatever. But the Atlanteans and Namor, of course, were the ones that pulled off they were the ones that actually attacked the scientists. And that to me was interesting. As we go farther down in the review, I'll talk more about it in terms of the fact that, as we end up having an experience where both of the nations are concerned about protecting their resources, essentially, right? And at that point, that's different. That's a different dichotomy for Namor and the Atlanteans and Wakanda than in the comics anyway, right? They never, there was no vibranium in the Atlantis area or whatever, whatnot, or the ocean in the comics. But no, I don't know that much to say about it really. I think the next scene is where I really kind of got in.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, after that attack on that CIA vessel, and after basically the CIA blames Wakanda, that's when it goes back to Suri and Ramona, and they're basically going out into the wilderness at night to do a ceremonial burning of the funeral clothing. And while they're out there and kind of talking and stuff like that, and Ramona's trying to kind of get Suri to get out of the headspace she's in, that's when Namor pops up. And Namor pops up and has a discussion with Ramonda, and Suri, basically blaming them for this vibranium fighting machine, and that that he wants them to bring them the person that created it, because he doesn't want them basically finding the vibranium in the ocean and then basically compromising his city. And so he gives them an ultimatum saying, you must bring me the scientists within this amount of time, and or he will attack Wakanda. So then that's when basically Okoye comes into play. Her and Suri learn about Everett Ross again, that about him, and they basically kind of get information from him about a MIT student, Riri Williams, and how basically, where to find her, and that, this is the person that created the machine. So then, when after they find that out, they go actually to Boston, to MIT, to find this Riri Williams. And there, while they're there to confront her, basically to kind of give her kind of a little bit of a rundown. Suri kind of takes her to the side and kind of like tries to be nice about things, and tell her, this is what's going on. I need your help with this kind of situation, basically. And they get there and everything, and basically Riri ends up taking them to her like hideout place where she does all her work and stuff like that. And while they're there is when all of a sudden the FBI show up, and then they get pursued by the FBI, and that's when we have this like great kind of chase sequence that was really awesome. And this really got me into the movie, really. And I really enjoyed this rundown and stuff like that, the car chasing, and then all of a sudden Namor and his warriors popping up and basically start battling out with the FBI and going after, the MIT student, Riri, and, going after Suri and Okoye. And so basically they all battle out and stuff like that. Basically, Okoye at one point gets knocked out, and basically she's defeated before they end up taking Suri and Riri to their underwater world. So then, as it goes on, Okoye goes back to Wakanda, tells Queen Ramonda what happened. Ramonda gets really upset with Okoye, and basically said, you said that you should take her with you, and all this kind of crap, and kind of just all this stupid like mumbo jumbo. It's just like, really, like it was, I'm one person, I can't, it's like really. And basically ends up making Okoye step down from her position as the head of the Dora Milaje. And basically strips her of that title, and basically they seek out Nakia, who's been living in that's when Ramonda decides to go and look for Nakia, aka Chadwick Boseman's or T'Challa's love interest in the first Black Panther film, who has been living in Haiti since Thanos' attack on Wakanda. So we'll stop there. So all that information there. So all that little scene there, we had that great battle sequence. We got the introduction to Riri Williams. We got basically Okoye getting stripped of her general status that we have known since in the first Black Panther. Going to meet Nakia again, getting to see that character again. What were your thoughts on that whole sequence of the film? What did you like about it? What did you hate about it? Did you think it moved the story well? And what were your thoughts overall? You're muted, Jeff.
Anyways, I mean, there wasn't anything about that I hated. I mean, at that point in the film, it was predictable as hell what was going to happen. The premise was very clear right from jump. They couldn't made it any clearer. There was no suspense built in that film at all. Like, you pretty much knew what you were getting right from jump. And that's actually kind of sad, to tell you the truth, because I've never experienced that with a Marvel movie until tonight. I never have. I've never watched a Marvel movie before and known in the first 5 minutes exactly what the entire story was. But unfortunately, that's how Wakanda Forever is. But yeah, I mean, the chase scene deal and everything and whatnot was great because it connected very well to the first Black Panther film. And I dug that they brought that trope back, right? That was a good trope. That worked in the first Black Panther film. So what you want about it, I agree with you, Cyber. I think if anything, it's, if I had to rank it, pardon me. Oh, I don't yawn very often, but wow. No, but I mean, honestly, off the cuff, I wouldn't know how to rank it. I wouldn't know what number to give it. But I would say that it's honestly, at best, it's probably a mid-tier Marvel Cinematic Universe film. The first Black Panther film, at best. I mean, the fact that they actually nominated for an Oscar nomination for Best Picture, just sort of, I guess, gives you the idea of like the how much you should value Chloe Zhao's Oscar, right? You know what I'm saying? There you go. How much weight that really ends up, what that really means at the end of the day. But basically, I love that connection. I did not necessarily understand or see how it made any logical sense whatsoever that they would need to actually have Okoye step down for what she's good at, to a lesser role at that, like, you know what I mean, and something she's not even good at, like she's not even trained in doing. It's not even like something she's like known for doing. Like she's not a diplomat, right? Like, I mean, so I just with that. I mean, it's whatever. It didn't like make or break anything for me. It's just that, unfortunately, I felt that Okoye sort of got shafted in the movie. She did. I thought, I mean, I just thought she could have been treated better. And, she was a big highlight for me of the first Black Panther film was Okoye. I mean, she's been excellent in The Walking Dead. As far as I remember correctly, when she was started into The Walking Dead, she uplifted the whole show almost. She really did in a way. Like, what I'm saying, over time, not immediately, but over time. She added a different dynamic to it that caught on. Real right? It did, as be shown. And at that point, I felt like, okay, how is this logical? I mean, you don't have any other people. Of course, it has to be black women. It can't be a man. So there has to be a black woman that can fill this role besides the chick that like actually, can legitimately beat other dudes' asses in real life. Like she's that dope as a fighter, whatnot, everything, like it's believable when she beats the dude's ass, like, okay, we're going to make her a diplomat. I mean, I guess she's, if you look at Okoye's attitude, she doesn't get to talk that much. She never gets that much dialogue, in the MCU in her roles. She doesn't. But when she does, she's good. Her dialogue is good. And if anything, her attitude is kind of shitty sometimes. It's like very dry and sarcastic all the time, and whatnot, right? And sort of almost like asshole-ish in a way. And she's not trying to be funny with it. That's who she is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's very regal, right? And like old-fashioned and traditional and serious, which I like about that character. So, like I said, bringing the car chase type stuff back, good deal. Very good deal. Great connection. And besides that, again, I mean, really, I guess all else I would say would just be that, I guess, and we'll flush this out over the course of the movie, but I guess for me, I sort of felt like the pacing, it wasn't just the writing, it was the pacing of the movie too a little bit. That kind of threw me off at times. And that's pretty much it. I've got plenty to say about Namor and, her actually being, kidnapped and whatnot and everything, and that entire aspect with Ironheart and whatnot. And what I thought of like their version of Atlantis, all that, but we'll get there.
All right, thank you. All right, so moving on. So basically, that's when we get to Suri and Ironheart. Basically, they wake up and they're in the Talokan like jail, basically area wherever they're being kept. That's when basically, Suri goes and sees Namor, and he basically shows her his vibranium-rich underwater kingdom of Talokan. Basically, he explains that he's been protecting it, for centuries now, And, basically he's better at the service world for enslaving the Mayas. And, basically that he wants to create an alliance with Wakanda. But if Wakanda refuses, they will be the first that he destroys. And basically that's when it goes. We have that whole kind of like long sequence there. It shows his birth, shows kind of his mother, shows the people at the beginning, shows him kind of like dealing with the outside world a little bit, and basically kind of what happens to him that causes him to hate the outside world. And then basically that's when after Ramonda asked Nakia to help find Suri. That's when Nakia gets there, and she goes down to help save Suri and Shuri Ironheart to escape. And that's when basically they have kind of that like escape sequence that was pretty decent. I enjoyed that. And after they escape, that's when Namor decides to retaliate with an attack against Wakanda. That's when we go back to Wakanda. We have that giant sequence where Namor shows up with his people, and they start, going after and destroying things in Wakanda. The city starts to get flooded, and there's basically all-out battle sequence there. During that is when, unfortunately, they decide to have Ramonda drown while saving Ironheart. Which that was one of my downsides to the movie. I was really pissed they killed her off too. I was like really pissed. Like as soon as that happened, I was like, I'm done. I hate this movie. Because I was like, holy shit, you get a first kill off T'Challa, which that was inevitable because unfortunately Chadwick Boseman died, but then you're gonna kill off another person already. I'm like, come on, like this is just stupid. And so basically she ends up drowning. And then, of course, Suri is even more inconsolable because of her mother now dying. Then at the end of that fight sequence, Namor vows to return in a week with his full army and the citizens of Wakanda to relocate them to the Jabari Mountains for their safety. Basically, saying that he's going to return and destroy the whole city and stuff like that because, you decided not to basically, take my peace treaty or whatever you want to call it. And basically that happens. And basically, the Wakandans try to kind of relocate somewhere into the city to help basically be at safety, which is about them relocating to the Jabari Mountains. Then it flashes over to Everett Ross again. And he's arrested by his ex-wife, aka CI director Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, or just call her Val, who is secretly exchanging classified intelligence with Wakandas, because that's what he's been, basically been helping out the Wakandans throughout this section of the film as well. And he's basically been taken, captive after him and Val kind of have a little conversation at his house. And she's like, I know what you've been doing this whole time. I bugged you since the crime sequence, because they basically go out to the scene where the Okeo and Suri are basically in that fight with, Namor and his people. And they're like seeing what's going on here while, what happened here. And he's been bugged since then. And she's been hearing his calls with, the Wakandans. So he gets arrested, which I was happy they brought back Everett Ross into this film. I absolutely love the actor that plays him. He's absolutely awesome. And so I was happy to see him back, and I wish he had a bigger role. It was just really done well, though. I enjoyed every moment he was on screen. He was just so sick and funny and just really well done. And I just thought, that whole sequence there was very well done. So before we move on to that, what was your thoughts of that battle sequence at Wakanda? What was your thoughts of when Suri and Ironheart are prisoner and they learn about Talokan? And what did you think about that whole interaction with Ross and Val, and kind of what ends up going on with him towards the end of the film?
Well, to start off with, again, the continuous trope throughout the film is just so clear. Like, it just repeats over and over and over again. In every possible situation, the woman in the situation overpowers the man in some way. Either she manipulates him, She knows more about shit than him. She's already been like, checking them out and whatnot, knows everything he's been doing. She's smarter than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like during the attack, like the one situation where you see a Wakandan couple like hiding from their house or whatever, is it the husband helping the fucking Wakandan wife out of the house? No, it's the goddamn woman, like helping his ass get out of there and whatnot. And I mean, it just kept on going from there. Like every fucking chance there was, that's what happened. Like that, bam. You know what I mean? Like it never failed, no matter what. They consistently stuck with that trope in every possible way, and it never wavered. There was never a change. No balance at all. No different dichotomy, nothing. And, I mean, as far as the battle goes, I mean, it was neat. I mean, I don't know, I'm going to call them Atlanteans, whatever the fuck they're supposed to be called, whatever, Kutas, or whatever the fuck that stupid shit is. I don't even know, man. I just feel stupid even trying to pronounce it.
Talokan.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I apologize. Hearing you say it makes it sound much more valuable and respectable to me. But anyways, no. The Talokans, they kind of reminded me of the Blue Man Group. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what my feeling was. That's basically, folks, that was my vision of the film. And the more I evolved throughout it, past like the first 3 or 4 minutes of it, I just basically was the entire time like, the only entertainment I could get out of it was just basically trying to find fucked up, weird ways to look at things in a way that was like at least somewhat amusing to me, right? So, if something sucked, I was like, okay, well, you know what, it sucks, but hey, if you imagine Jar Jar in the scene, it could be interesting. You know what I mean? And that made me feel a bit better about it, which is sad, very sad. Because, of course, when it boils down to it, Jar Jar is fucking worthless. He is about as valuable as a rock as an actor. You know what I mean? Like in a movie. Seriously. If you watched, if you had sat in the empty theater I was in with a dark screen for 2 hours, that would have been better than Jar Jar in anything, personally, in my opinion. But he still would have been an improvement in the movie of Wakanda Forever. He would have been a highlight. No. Basically, I like the purple streak in Bale's hair. That was dope. That was hot. I like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, I'm down with the goth punker chicks, man. I'm down with all that. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to see Elaine getting hit. You know what I'm saying? It worked. I thought she rocked it. You could overdo that kind of thing, but she didn't. It was very minimal. And she actually looked younger than she has in the other appearances I've seen her in, I thought. Maybe it was the way they shot her. Maybe it was her hair being longer or something. I'm not sure. But she looked younger to me. She looked fresher. Like, she looked a little, like, she did. To me, she looked more youthful. And at that point, with Ross, again, Ross basically was just a little bitch the whole movie. Like, I mean, he really, he was not looking too hot, man, or too strong, like, at all. I mean, what a paradox compared to the first Black Panther film, and that his role there. From like a solid character to like, an embarrassment, basically. You know what I mean? Like, but hey, I mean, if he was down to do that shit, good for him. But basically, what I was trying to figure out was, is Bale the director of the CIA now? Is that the gist? What?
All right. So, very good. Very good, sir. Yeah, most definitely. I mean...
Did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I said, is Bale the director of the CIA now? Is that what they're implying? Which I just heard. I just kept hearing her and them mentioning her as director. Is she the director of the CIA?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, because I always assumed, and we've talked about this before, Cyber, during Buckle with Your Soldier, other shows, that at some point we figured that she was going to end up being an inside man kind of deal. Think Andor, right? Last episode, right? We figured at some point that Vale was not just a somebody who runs a mercenary ring, but she's also an information broker, right? Like, she's tapped in. So that I found interesting. You know, I mean, how did Vale manage to elevate herself to that role, for one thing, right? For a minute there, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, maybe this is another version of Shield, like a new Shield, possibly, not Sword, but maybe this is possibly something having to do with what Sharon Carter's doing now. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was kind of getting. That's what vibes I was getting from that, when I wasn't sure what the whole director thing was. So that kind of got me going a little bit. I'm like, okay, where's this going to go, right? And hey, as far as I'm concerned, I think Vale's one of the rare situations where, and this is because of Julie Louis-Dreyfus. That's why. You can interject her in any MCU film, I think, and it works. I don't see how it's bad or doesn't fit, because her character is built that way. She can just pop up in anything, right? And it's logical. It makes sense. That's what she does. So, you know, she was good for the little bit of, like, you know, for the little bit of screen time they gave her. She made the best of it. It had an impact. She did. And I like the fact, in a way, I like the fact they limit her and they don't overexpose her when she does appear. I feel like that would actually bring her character down a little bit.
All right. Okay. I mean, I definitely think that they're bringing her into this is a connection to her role in the Thunderbolts, because we definitely know that she's going to be a part of the Thunderbolts. And, you know, that kind of was the connection in Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well. You know, her bringing in U.S. Agent at the end. So I feel this was kind of like another little snippet at, oh, we're going towards the Thunderbolts. Basically, you know, the Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. So I think that they're putting her in with little segments and little portions, I think it's just kind of a tease, like you're saying, to get you excited for the Thunderbolts and her future role down the line. And I think that's why they keep doing it like that. And they'll give her too big of a part, because they know that you're going to keep the anticipation is going to keep coming for you and keep wanting more and more of her. And then we're going to get that when we get Thunderbolts. So I think, you know, they're giving little hits, like her being the CIA director and stuff like that. So I think that's why they do it. They're doing it that way with Val.
And she's good at Val.
Yeah. Julie Louis-Dreyfus is just a good actress. She's fun. She's good. You know, since she was Elaine in Seinfeld, I've loved her. You know, she did a great job in Veep. I mean, she is a good actress. So, you know, I think she's doing a good job with the character.
My favorite character in Seinfeld. Favorite character.
Yeah. Awesome. Excellent, sir. Thank you. All right. So, let's see. Okay, so after that, that's when they have the funeral for Ramonda. Once again, shows Suri all depressed and all this kind of stuff, you know, being more self-loathing, that kind of thing. And basically, you know, that's when she starts to try to create the heart-shaped herb again. And basically shows her kind of going through the sequences, trying to get it right and stuff like that. And eventually she gets one that is somewhat correct. And basically synthesizes it, and she really has created the herb again. So when basically after it's been, you know, made, she's like, okay, well, let's test it out. And so basically she takes it herself. They put her, you know, basically on like a table thing to have her do like the, you know, covering thing like we saw in the first film with, you know, T'Challa with Killmonger. and it's basically to see if the herb works, the heart shape, after she reconstructs it. So like I said, she ingests it while she's in her comatose state. That's when we get, she goes to the ancestral plane. She thinks she's going to see her mom. She thinks she's going to see her brother, her father, and who else actually ends up there? None other than Killmonger himself. Ba-boom! I like I said, when I saw it in theaters, I was really shocked to see him pop up here, and I was like, "Holy crap!" They brought back Killmonger, and so basically they have a conversation, her and Killmonger, and basically he keeps like kind of reiterating, "You need to get revenge. You need to get revenge. You need to get revenge." And she keeps saying, "Oh no, I'm not about that. That's not what it's about." La da 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 da. But basically, after she comes out of it, you can see there's something different in that revenge feel is in her. So once that she comes back, she's kind of angry. She hits something, and she has superhuman strength. So showing that the herb actually worked. So that's when she decides to become the next Black Panther, and she dons a Black Panther suit. And basically, that's when she's accepted by the Wakanda tribes to be the next Black Panther. During this sequence, M'Baku comes into play. He urges for peace. He's kind of trying to be that kind of like fatherly figure because, she has lost all of her fatherly figure type of characters, her mother, her brother, her father, and stuff like that. M'Baku's like, "Hey, I just want peace. And, I'm a part of Wakanda now," and stuff like that. And they have kind of that interesting little conversation there. And then basically, Suri basically says that, she wants to get revenge on Namor for her mother's death, and basically orders an immediate counterattack at Talokan. So that's when basically they get together and decide to like create this boat thing and take it there to go battle, Namor. So as they're doing that, as they're preparing for battle, that's when they appoint a new general of the Dora Milaje, who and they end up having Ao take over. And so Shuri bestows the Midnight Angel armor upon Okoye, which in the film, when I first saw this, I had no idea what the hell the Midnight Angel was, or like I didn't think there was anything to those suits. I just thought they were suits, and I looked more into it, and that's actually a reference to the stuff down the road that we'll want to get into. I'll let you talk a little bit about that, but that's something that's exciting about some characters that we've been wanting. And basically that's when, he in turn recruits the Dora Milaje member. Okoye asks Anika to join her in the suit too as well. And basically that's when Riri creates an Iron Man-esque powered exoskeleton to aid the Wakandans. All right, so before we move on past that, so what was your thoughts on the funeral scene? What were your thoughts on the whole herb thing, making it, having her take that, her coming in contact with Killmonger, garnering the new suit, M'Baku's kind of speech with her, and then of course her idea to basically get revenge, then the Dora Milaje getting a new leader, and then the Midnight Angel armor, and then the first creation of the Ironheart. What were your thoughts on those sequences there, sir?
Well, I want to backtrack just a little bit too, just because I did miss a couple things I wanted to point out, and that was sort of just, first of all, the fact that right from jump, I love the fact that immediately, right, like they make it clear that they hate America and capitalism, right? Is from jump. You know what I mean? Like, America is bad. Capitalism is bad. You know what I'm saying? From jump. Right? That was interesting, I thought. What a surprise. And then as far as just to go back as far as like the Ironheart and Shuri being in prison together, I really was hoping that they were going to go with more of like a Caged Heat, Skinamax, type of like porn type deal. You know what I'm saying? Possibly, maybe that could have maybe been made the film more positive. Because really, I mean, I'm not really sure. I don't honestly. I'm not sure that these beyond superhuman black perfect reborn Jesus black women even have sex. To be honest, maybe they're all lesbians. I'm not sure. I can't tell. They certainly don't need men. That's for sure. And honestly, when they were doing the sacred herb, I honestly at that point was so far into Cloud World that I thought it was possible that they actually were going to actually clone Chadwick Boseman's child without a man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a part of, like, the movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, why not? At that point, I was like, fuck, anything can happen here. So why not? This would make perfect sense. That's where I thought things were going. I wasn't thinking Sacred Herb. I was thinking like, oh yeah, baby. They're going to create a baby with no man. Just to add to the whole, fabulous dynamic of the movie. So that was interesting to me. And then I realized it was a Sacred Herb. And of course, without question, Shuri's stronger from jump than Chadwick Boseman was, immediately. She also handles the Sacred Herb better than Chadwick when he took it. She just rocks with it. She she's upset for like half a second, and she's good. Killmonger, right, was good. Nice to see him. But it's interesting because essentially, again, his only role was to basically be fake profound, to set up Shuri to get pissed off, only to then turn around and prove how perfect she is at the end, right? By then turning it around. You know what I mean? And becoming patient and all that and whatnot, right? So even Killmonger was a bad guy in the movie, again, essentially. So, hey, I mean, it's very interesting. Very interesting dynamic. I love how Ironheart managed to put together her suit in 13 seconds. That was great. Very, definitely she's very good at that. I would need at least 15 minutes on that. But she did it in less than 20 seconds. So, hey, good for you, Ironheart. You're very capable, obviously. And, also, I also noticed and thought that it was interesting that Namor in the comics fucking hates Wakanda, right? Like, despises them. You know what I mean? Like, literally. So it's just kind of interesting to me, just to backtrack a little bit, that he was as nice to Shuri as he was at all. Like, that's not Namor. Namor's a dick. Like, he's not nice to people, women or men. He's not concerned about PC shit. Namor's not. He's unhappy. He doesn't fit into any world. He doesn't fit in the human world. He doesn't fit in Atlantis. He's basically fucking like his life sucks. He's not happy. He's always angry. He's always fighting people and shit. That's Namor. So, I'm not taking anything away from the character. He was great in the film. I thought he was good. Or the actor. I just thought it was interesting that they had him being that diplomatic like that. Honestly, to tell you the truth. When he wanted to be sinister and make it clear, make his points, he was clear. Like, he seemed legit. When he was like, yo, when he flipped it on, it was like, just to be clear, if you don't come correct, I will kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, I will kill you. I will destroy your fucking country. That was dope. That was Namor, right? It just kind of surprised me a little bit that he was that cordial and whatnot. Like, I mean, the Namor that I think of Like, if he had somebody as a kidnapped, he'd be like torturing them and shit. You know what I mean? Like, he hit them or starve them. Like, he wouldn't give a fuck. He would be nice. That was just a little bit interesting to me. And I guess in terms of the M'Baku situation with Shuri, I love M'Baku. I do. And he was good in the movie. Underused, but good. And again, I mean, he's had some really good shit to say, right? Like he was in a really great stage position to drop some knowledge, right? And you'd think any logical person would listen to him. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, he made sense, and was respectful about it too. He wasn't a dick. And how did it work out? He got domed. You know what I'm saying? There you go. He got domed for it, and was okay with it too. So hey, what are you gonna do? But no, I just did not find Shuri believable as any of it. I knew for a fact going into the film, I did cyber. I told people, I'm like, look, I'm sorry, but they did not hire this actress to play this Shuri in this movie, in Black Panther, and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be the Black Panther. That was not the point. That was never the goal, or something they anticipated ever happening. And at that point, they did not cast a Shuri that was comic book, at least somewhat accurate, to where maybe a different actress could have actually pulled off the Black Panther better, like more authentically, right? Shuri just looked uncomfortable in a way, almost. I mean, when Namor pointed his finger, right, it was like, you're the queen now. I thought he was pointing at Ironheart. And I was like, oh, fuck. Wakanda's done, baby. It's over. You know what I'm saying? If Ironheart is the queen now, it's over, man. It's done. It's fuck Wakanda forever. You know what I'm saying? Wakanda's not forever anymore. Yes, it's over. I thought the movie might end right there at that point, to be honest with you. I was like, Namor, are you sure? Do you have your glasses on?
All right. Thank you. Interesting. All right. So, moving on. So, basically, we get to the epic conclusion of the film. They end up going out to the middle of the ocean, luring out Namor and his warriors to the surface for a battle to ensue. Basically, at this point, Suri traps Namor in one of the aircrafts and basically figure out, what's the best way to defeat him is to make him dry, because apparently it looks like the ocean is what makes him so strong. So basically, she gets him trapped inside the Wakanda craft and starts to heat him up, basically to dry him out. So basically, as she's trying to do that, they kind of battle out a little bit in the spacecraft, basically causing the spacecraft to crash into a deserted beach. And basically, they have like this all-out fight. Now, this fight definitely was pretty pathetic, I thought, and I did not care for it at all. I thought that, like, how the hell is Suri even comparing to Namor at all, him being how strong they've shown him throughout the whole entire movie. So I was like really shocked at this fight sequence. And basically, as they fight, she basically ends up getting the upper hand. At one point, she pulls off his wings off of his ankles. And then, she gets to a part where she's about ready to kill him and she doesn't. And, that their paths are different, and that she used to offer him a peaceful alliance, and basically because Namor is so weak, he decides to accept, and the battle ends. But basically after that happens, that's when it goes back down to Talokan, and Namor's in his room area, whatever, and messing with his wall. And Namora comes in and basically tells him how she's upset with him accepting the peaceful alliance. And basically he says, well, this will actually, by doing this, will allow us the upper hand, allowing us to sneak in slowly and eventually being able to grasp it when we need, and maybe by doing this too will allow us to get a connection with Wakanda, and they'll help us to battle the land world. And basically he says this is good. This will help us get to where we need to be, basically. So then after that, that's when we see Riri gonna return to MIT. Basically, Suri says to leave the suit behind because it, sucks. And because that's basically how she says it too. She's like, basically, that suit, like, it needs to be redone. She's
Yo,
like, so
I swear to God, at one point, I wasn't sure if the Predator was in the fucking movie or the Power Rangers or what the fuck was going on.
Yep. That's what I was thinking too. That's what the wife was thinking too when she was watching it. She's like, "What are these things? What are they? Power Rangers?"
Yo, when did the Predator join the MCU?
Yeah, well, he is a part of Fox, which is now owned by Disney. So there you go. Then basically, we see Suri plant more heart-shaped herbs to ensure the future of the Black Panther mantle. And after that, that's when we see in Shuri's absence, M'Baku steps in to challenge the throne. We have that little kind of funny, he's like, "Does anybody challenge me?" like thing. That was hilarious. And at one point, that's when Suri basically we end up finding out she goes back to Heishi to see Nakia. And that's when she decides to finally do the burning of the funeral ceremonial robe finally, and accordance to Ramonda's wishes, to allow herself to finally grieve about T'Challa. And then at that point, that's right when all of a sudden we see Everett Ross again. He's in the back of a van and they're driving somewhere, and then all of a sudden a tree branches down the middle of the road and they have to stop. And that's when he's broken free and let out by Okoye. And that's how the movie ends. So
you mean the Predator?
Yeah, the Predator. Yeah, and so we get like a few credits, and then that's when we get a mid-credit scene, and that's where we're introduced to the son of T'Challa named Toussaint, who has been secretly being raised by Nakai and Heishi since basically when the battle happened in Infinity War. And basically, she's kept him a secret because he is actually the rightful heir to the throne. And then basically Suri, realizes that it's T'Challa's son, and then he reveals that his Wakanda name is T'Challa. And that's the end of the film. So, what did you think about the end of the film and the Predators? And what did you think about the mid-credit scene?
Well, I definitely thought it was interesting that when Namor was born as a baby, his penis was bigger than mine. That was tough. Tough to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? That was rough for me. I won't lie. It's never good. It's never good when a newborn baby is a bigger penis than me. But what are you gonna do, right? Folks, things happen. Genetics and whatnot, and hereditary, whatever. You know what I mean, and all that. So. Props to you, Namor, right, for having a big schlong right at birth. Good for you. Namor was fully erect at birth.
Nobody cares.
So, anyways, as far as the Namor scene with Shuri, again, when you become the Black Panther, okay, when you take the sacred herb, it gives you powers, okay, it makes you stronger, it gives you heightened reflexes, it gives you heightened stamina, it gives you quick heightened speed, athleticism, right? Dexterity, right? But it does not improve your combat skills. Okay, it doesn't. It does not make you a better fighter. It doesn't teach you somehow how to like jump off buildings and flip and shit. Any of that. That's not how the sacred herb works. It doesn't go that way. So at that point, it is found interesting that somehow magically, Shuri had time to train the way she did, to where she could legitimately from jump pull off like, Olympic style fucking jumps and shit and flips and whatnot and shit from jump all of a sudden. And then on top of that, can fight like she's a pro fighter and shit too. Even though she's never been in a fight in her life. And then on top of that, somehow magically, Namor is like, he punches freaking M'Baku during the initial incursion into Wakanda. He punches M'Baku so fucking hard that he like legitimately crushes his entire breastplate, sends him flying like 75 feet in the air. Okay, no joke, off one punch. But yet, when Shuri fights him, he's a pussy. He's a little bitch. He can't fight anymore. He's done. Like, he doesn't know how to fight. So, that was a little interesting. William, good timing, brother.
Who can't fight no more? Who you talking about, Falcon?
Oh, no, man. Shuri.
You talking about the new Captain America?
No, I'm talking about Shuri. I'm talking about Shuri and her amazing managing to train to become a pro fighter in 13 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how she pulled that off, man. I mean, but hey.
First of all, I will say this. You can make an assumption that she was somewhat trained in Wakanda based off the warrior ways they already had. I can't pronounce it, the Dalsame or whatever. She could have some training there for all we know. What's up, Cyber? She could have had some training there for all we know. But I get you, because the movie has a lot of holes, and I'm gonna make some people mad tonight. I just want to let y'all know. I'm gonna make some people mad. You want me to go into it, or you want you want
no.
to go in? Okay.
We were basically closing it out and whatnot and wrapping up the final scenes. You just got it on, so have at it, brother. Get after it, man. Give us your wonderful. I'm sure you thought the movie was outstanding. I'm sure you think it probably deserves another Academy Award nomination. So
here's my beef with the movie. Here's my main beef. My main beef with the movie is the fact that you should have recasted the character. Because if you go back, you've been saying that too. Because if you go back, take Namor and a little bit of M'Baku out of it. This is a chick flick.
You think so?
Riri Williams, and to even give Riri Williams any credence is terrible. They redid Riri Williams and she was still terrible. Namor could have had her. And speaking of Namor, that wasn't our Namor. That wasn't the Namor that we know and love. Yeah, he got wings on his feet. He could fly, but for obvious reasons, you can't have Atlantis. But still, that wasn't our Namor. Am I lying?
He was okay. No, but he was okay. He
was more personable than Shuri. I mean, than Riri. I'm sorry. He's more personable than Riri. And I could take that as a character. I could take that. But another thing that bothered me too, and this is why again you should recast the character. You are in the most technological, advanced medicine place in the world. You mean to tell me the Black Panther gets taken out by undisclosed illness? Come on, man.
I blame She-Hulk.
Yeah. But I don't know about blaming, but well, they do call the MCU the MCU now, so
there you go.
Possibly, but I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. Suri was about to find him a cure, but she ran out of time. But Angela Bassett, she great. She was fantastic in the movie. She was great. She classes everything up. It's a shame she dies in the movie, but again, she classes everything up. But yeah, you take M'Baku out, take Namor out. Riri Williams was terrible. I give this movie a 6. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 6 because again,
wow, that's generous.
They messed it up because they did it in remembrance of Chadwick and not in remembrance of Black Panther. If you would have, because Chadwick and Black Panther, I don't care what people say, are the same. So if you would have went that route and recasted the character, you could have picked it up. You was hell. How many people come back from the dead in the comics? How many people come out from the dead in anime? Michael B. Jordan was right there. He did a cameo. Come on, man. And it's in the comics that he came back as Black Panther. Come on, man.
Yo, I thought the Blue Man Group people that they actually were zombies at first. I did. I was like, oh, we got zombies in this bitch too?
Got zombies in this mud?
Yeah, what the fuck, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, really? Okay.
Now I will give I will give the movie props though, because I like the way she took him away from the ocean, put him in heat, and then they put him in that desert to beat him. But with that being said, she took that spear to the gut. What the heck, man? What the heck?
3 seconds later, she's fine.
3 seconds later, she doing backflips. And didn't they say in the movie they couldn't replicate? And didn't they say in the movie they couldn't replicate the plant? Didn't they say that in the movie? They couldn't replicate the.
Yeah, but Riri was there.
But Riri was there. Riri was there. Come on, man, Riri was terrible. You get a girl a vibranium tracker with no vibranium in the track. Come on, man. We going there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Look, I'm telling you right now, Wakanda Forever sent me some fucking vibranium at this point. You know what I'm saying? Or something.
I just feel if they did everything in remembrance to Chadwick, they didn't do it justice by Black Panther. And that was my problem with the movie. And I just think that if you would have did it to what Black Panther, recasted the role and they followed more from the comics, because it was different from the comics. So if you would have followed more of that trend, I thought the movie would have done a whole lot better.
And I fucked up with that. I did. Because I was all about, Cyber knows, you know, William, I was all about, nah, I ain't having that. Do not recast Chadwick Boseman.
I was like that at first too. I was like that at first too until I saw the movie the second time. It took me 2 times to see the flaws. And I saw it the second time, and that's when I saw all the flaws in the movie. And I was saying to myself, now I wouldn't have all these flaws if they would have recasted Black Panther. And if you get a Wakanda Forever 2, it's already in the works that you're gonna get Black Panther through old girl's son. But still, if you would have did that during this movie, still bring in Namor, have him and Namor go at it, this movie would have sold big time.
No, and Cyber, I don't know where you're at with this, but I did change my mind before Black Panther Wakanda Forever came out. I did. I finally changed my mind. I was on a show on the Podcast of Champions, and I forget who it was. I think it was Taylor was talking about the whole thing. And what he said, whatever it was, got through to me to where all of a sudden the light bulb went off, and I was like, you know what? I'm wrong. I'm like, they should recast this role. They should recast it. I'm wrong. Like I'm stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, this makes sense. However he said it, it made sense to me. At that point, I was like, you know what? I'm wrong. They should recast this. It was too late at that point, probably. But what do you think, Cyber? I mean, honestly.
What do I think about what?
The dichotomy of where you were at with the recasting of Chadwick and then how that impacted the film.
Well, I was always on the fact that, like, don't recast T'Challa himself, but bring in another one of the Black Panthers from the comic books. let's do either bring in M'Baku as when he becomes the Black Panther. You could bring in Killmonger as one of the Black Panthers.
Yep.
You could have gone with any of the several billion times that they've changed him out in the comics. They could have brought in one of those to suffice that Black Panther.
My thing was bring Killmonger. That was my thing because he did so well in the first movie. And like I said, how many people we've seen being brought back from the dead?
Hey, Robert Pattinson, baby.
You know?
Like I told Cyber earlier, they should have Robert Pattinson as Black Panther.
He'd be a hellified white tiger, though. I ain't gonna say in front. He'll be a hellified white tiger, I bet.
Hey, it's pretty rough, man, when a fucking white person needs to save Wakanda.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was always on the fence, like on that portion, like you could have done that, and having it, go to Suri, having her become the next Black Panther. I just was never down for that because Letitia Wright, she's an okay actress. She's nothing special. At the same time, it's like I just don't see her being that kind of badass type of character. I
don't mean to cut you off, but can somebody tell me, didn't they say in the movie that they could not reproduce that flower? Did they not say that?
At one point in the film, yes, but then she was able to
97% something.
Yeah, something like that recreate it. Yeah.
Wait, come on. Didn't you get the memo, bro? Apparently now in the MCU, if you're a black woman, you are the best. You are strong. You are smarter than everybody. You can beat up dudes that are 320 pounds when you're 120 pounds soaking wet. You are like everything. You are a god.
Well, see, and that's and like I say, because of the lack of male representation, I'm getting crushed for my opinion. But if you go back and look at it, take Namor out, the M'Baku scenes, it's a chick flick.
Yo, black women are pissed off at this movie.
It's a chick flick. I know a lot of black women that support it, but hate my opinion. I don't care because it's my opinion. I'm gonna say what I got to say regardless. But again, you take Namor out, you take M'Baku out, it's a chick flick. That's what it is. At the end of the day, it's a chick flick. And I think the end of the movie sort of kind of saves a little bit of Wakanda for Forever 2 for a second, a sequel or a part 2, because you have the two males that can vie for Black Panther, and Killmonger, I think, will still be in the realm because Killmonger did it in the comics. So I think he'll still be in the realm. But man, there wasn't enough men in that movie for nothing. It's the MCU now. MSHEU. MCU. That's exactly what this is. Started with She-Hulk and is carrying its way over here.
It never occurred to me they'd carry the She-Hulk shit into the movie.
Yeah, they did.
Seriously.
They did.
Like, fuck, man. I'm telling you, like, seriously, man. I mean, it was like a mirror image. It was a mirror image.
You were doing good on representation in the Avengers movies. They did a great job there. A great job. I don't know where this is coming from. You got the Marvels coming. So get ready for that at some point. So again, I don't know where this is coming from. Hopefully they do the Marvels good to where we forget what the agenda is. But
nah, Cyber, and I know what this is about. And we don't get into politics here and whatnot and everything, but in some situations you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
This is very simple. Everybody I knew was already called it. Everybody knows what's going on. Okay. Yep. It's a very, very consistent thing now. They're pushing straight up woke Hollywood ideology right into the films. They are straight up. That's what they're doing. And they're basically using the most basic childlike tropes to do it. That are like almost so childlike that it's almost laughable.
And I get it in the comics because the comics and politics has sort of kind of run hand in hand for some years. But now you're bringing it to Hollywood. It's not going to be accepted by everybody.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, only until the last 15, 20 years did they start to inject any of that stuff into the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
Before then, like we talked about earlier, Cyber, when they did stuff to try, Marvel Comics did try to do stuff to help social change. but they did it subtly, right? It wasn't PC. It wasn't gimmicky, right? It was done the right way. It was fluid. It was authentic. You know what I'm saying? But they did try. They did care. They wanted to make a better world. They wanted to see representation, but they did it the right way. They didn't inject fucking Ironheart into some film just so she could be a goddamn clown.
Still don't get that. I still don't get that because you redid her character. She didn't steal a suit of armor from Tony Stark. You had to do a vibranium tracker with no vibranium to track. I just don't get it. It's like you wrote her in the movie as an afterthought, and you can't do a character like that and expect us to get invested into that character.
Cyber, what did you think about with them showing her like Tony in the suit with that facial, with that whole deal? I didn't like it, man. I was like, I felt betrayed.
That suit looked like somebody that old cartoon show Centurion. That's what that suit looked like. That thing was ugly.
I mean, it looked like we were saying earlier, Power Ranger, Predator, RoboCop. I mean, that's what it looked like. It was like literally like a suit, like a suit from one of the Power Ranger films.
Yeah, I wasn't
like,
sure. I didn't know if maybe the movie got fucked up and they switched up, like the film ran out and they put the Power Ranger movie on.
Like Power Ranger Space Force or something, man. That's what it looked like, man.
Yeah,
it was bad. It was bad. It was like they took all the money budget for like certain CGI shots, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to this. Like, we don't got much money left. Maybe we should just
put it together like this.
Put it together like this. Yeah, yeah. So
it just seems to me like some of this stuff is so simple. Like Cyber said, how do you not know? We've been talking about this forever. Anybody with a brain knew. The only people who had a problem with bitching about Shuri as the Black Panther were the types where they're gonna have a problem with any kind of angle like that because she's a woman, she's black, whatever, yada yada, whatever. The bottom line thing is, it's not about that. It's not about race. It's not about her being a woman. It's very simple. She's not the same Shuri from the comics. That's not who she is.
Nope.
She's not that Shuri.
Nope.
This Shuri was not meant to be the Black Panther.
Nope.
So at that point, what did you expect to happen?
That Shuri from the comics was a completely different person.
Nah, I mean, look, I mean, I'm sorry, but when she did her Wakanda Forever twice, I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, fucking leave the theater, give up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, man.
I just think that it got misdirected. Because again, a Chadwick, and don't get me wrong, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Love you to death, bro. You were fantastic in everything you did. You were a shining example for everyone everywhere. But this movie should have focused on Black Panther and not him. And I think that's where they got their wires crossed. Now, Wakanda Forever 2, if you do come out with one, it's going to be a little bit more directed. And it's going to be more focused around Black Panther. And I think that's when you'll actually see a good non-woke movie, because at that point there would be no Angela Bassett. She's gone. Shuri will be there, but she'll be more of a support capacity to whoever the new Black Panther is. And Baku, be it Killmonger, whoever it may be, she'll be in support of that person. So you get more of a balanced movie when the second one comes out.
No, see, that's actually not that good though, because Angela Bassett's not down with that woke shit.
I know she ain't. I'm sorry I'm shocked she came back for this. Judge Dong that.
I'm thinking that the only reason she came back is she said, "You got to kill off my character." That's what I'm thinking. That's probably why she agreed to do it, because she was like, "Okay, you kill off my character, I'm done. I'm leaving. Just I'll do it, but then kill off my character."
Yeah, so I can be done with it.
Yeah.
She's had a good run with that.
Yeah, once she heard about Ironheart, once she knew Ironheart was coming in, she was like, "Yo, I'm out, bro. Kill me. Kill me now."
I feel that.
All right, Jeff. So what is your 1 to 10 on Wakanda Forever?
Well, I'll say that I think that I'm still trying to formulate what I think the third Black Panther film should be, but it definitely should not be Black Panther Wakanda Forever 2. It should be probably we're sorry, folks. We're sorry for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We apologize. That should be the title of the third Black Panther film. We apologize. I'm sorry. But either way, I'll give the movie a negative 2.5.
I ain't going that low.
Yeah.
I ain't going that low. You did.
You say negative 2.5?
He say negative. I ain't going
negative?
that low. I ain't going that low.
I will go that low. I will go that low.
I ain't going that low.
Hey, if this movie does not wake up Marvel and Disney at this point, I don't know what does.
Because it did bring in some good. It did bring in some good stuff. Like I say, Namor was great. When you saw Atlantis Prime, as I call it, even though couldn't call it Atlantis, but when you saw Atlantis Prime, it was
Talokan.
And when you saw it, it was beautiful. And the supporting characters, as actors, did a really good job. I will give them that, with the exception of playing that Riri Williams role. And again, I know as an actress, you take what was given, but when what's given is trash, that's how you can portray it as trash. And that's exactly where Riri Williams was, trash. So don't bring her back. If you bring her back, you can bring her back later in that All Avengers female movie. If you want to bring her back then. That's later on in life. But it did bring a few good bits. I thought the special effects were pretty good. But yeah, I'm not going down that far, but like I said, I will give it a 6 because of the issues and the no mirror representation.
I was gonna give it a 0 until I saw Baby Namor have a bigger penis than me at birth.
You know what though? Here's the thing that gets me, y'all. Can you imagine? Because they had a tie-in with Namor in this movie. You could have maybe toward the end of the movie, you could have brought in you could have give it a little Fantastic Four teaser. But they didn't.
Well, yeah, that was like the rumor going around for like several years before this came out. When they started production on it, that there was supposed to be a Doctor Doom cameo in it.
Yeah,
and they didn't come up with anything. They didn't end up doing anything, which I thought was surprising.
Can you imagine if they would have done that?
Yeah, well, you know what happened? The imaginary character Doctor Doom contacted Marvel, was like, "Yo, I'm not being in that fucking movie, bro."
But can you imagine it? But can you imagine if they would have done that though?
I don't know if they ended up deciding not to do it because they pushed out Fantastic Four another year.
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe that's the reason why they didn't end up doing it. Because I mean, I'm sure they already have who they want in mind for the characters.
Yep.
That, they just, haven't made it public yet.
Right.
But at the same time, what if possibly they did film that scene? They did intend to put it in, but then because they all of a sudden just had to push it back that year,
they decided not to.
They decided not to use it and maybe use it in something else.
Oh yeah, and having Ironheart dom Doctor Doom from jump would really help him out in the MCU too.
And you notice something that was weird. This is going to tell you why we're not going to see Ironheart for a little bit longer in anything else. She had to leave that suit in Wakanda, so that tells you right there that if you do see her again, she's gonna steal something from Tony, or you will see her much later on in that all-females Avengers movie, and that's what I want to see. Come back in that all-females Avengers movie. Let me get over you for a little bit.
Well, what is weird about that is that she has her show coming out next year.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Disney
Plus, right?
Coming out. Yeah. So I mean, we are going to be seeing her soon. And I believe she has a part in the Marvels too.
Well,
even though she's not actually a part of the Marvels,
she's not part of the Marvels universe. Yeah.
What is she? What value is she going to add to the Marvels? I mean, I want to know.
Really nothing. If you go back and think about it.
I mean, seriously. No, I was to say that maybe. I think it's very possible that the show won't even happen. Because she will catch some strange disease like, who knows what? You know what I mean? She'll catch some random strain of herpes or some shit that's new or whatever, whatnot.
I'm kind of, I'm kind of hoping Ironheart gets pushed out. I'm kind of hoping because I don't see how. And again, Disney Plus is great, but I don't see how you make a good Ironheart series. I'm not seeing it.
Let's have her. Why can't she just die before the show even happens?
Tony Stark is dead, so let me stop hating. Let me stop hating. But she's just a terrible character, man.
Wait, can we cast Lady Gaga as Ironheart? In blackface?
Hey, I don't know about doing blackface, but she'll draw more attention to the character. Tell you that. Oh my gosh.
Well, that would be a conflict of interest because she's going to be in the new Joker film for DC. Well, so
it's pretty sad when Lady Gaga can out.
Who cares, Cyber? She can do both.
If Lady Gaga can
act, man.
If Lady Gaga can out-act you, man, you're in rough shape, bro.
Listen, as soon as the Joker thing is done, she just come on over. That's all she can do. Just come on over. Just come on over. That's all you got to do.
Raise your hand if you want Lady Gaga in the MCU. Okay.
Hey, I really had her than who they got now.
Hey, look, I'm telling you right now, I would have rather watched fucking I would have rather watched that fucking Lady Gaga movie with what's his name from House
of Gucci.
No. The Hangover. What's his name?
Star is Born remake.
I would rather watch that. I mean, I heard that was pretty good. I would rather watch that.
I just want to say how the Ironheart series can be good.
Well, I mean, everybody knows that.
Maybe I'm just thinking small, but I don't see how it's going to be good.
Listen, William, the nicest people I've ever met on recordings still talk shit about Ironheart and the series and whatnot. You feel me? Like they did too. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'll go back and watch Hawkeye before I watch that.
Biz of the Podcast of Champions never says anything negative about anything. Was like, this is all he said. He was like, why are they even doing Ironheart?
Thank you. I would have hey, don't put me down. Don't put me in Wakanda. I would have gave her right over to Namor. Here you go.
Who asked for Ironheart?
Here you go. Nobody. I didn't. If you would have put her with Miles Morales, I got you. I got you for that. But no, you didn't do it. You brought in this, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, and we don't, especially with how new of a character she is. I mean, like I was saying earlier, she's only been around since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So she's only been around 6 years. So why are you taking such a new character and bringing it to life when there isn't that huge of a fan base for it?
And we already got War Machine. We don't need another Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you would have done it with with Miles Morales, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And Miles can possibly put her over, but you didn't do it.
Yo, I'll tell you right now, if you try to put Ironheart in Don Cheadle's movie, he won't even do it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. The reason why Armor Wars ended up becoming a movie is because how big the budget became.
Yeah,
that is the main reason is why they made it into a movie, because they figured if we're gonna be spending this much money, might as well just make it a movie. Because it doesn't make sense to do a TV series and pay that much.
What I want to know is, how did the budget get that high?
Did that shock you guys that they increased it like that over time?
I can guarantee it's probably because of all the CGI that they have to use for it, because of all those suits that they're using in the film show. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it's probably the CGI alone for that film was probably a good third to a half of the budget for the film or the TV series when they first started doing it, because of that's just how much it costs to do the CGI work and stuff like that, motion capture, all that equipment and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I can see why. But to give my numbering on Wakanda Forever, I give it a solid 5 out of 10 for the film, because like William said, there are things I did like about it. I don't think it's the worst movie ever, but I also think it's not the best MCU film that they have put out. I mean, it's pretty low down there for me. But yeah, I think that, Tinoch did a pretty decent job as Namor. I like that at least they had him have his feathers on his ankles.
Wings, ankles, yeah.
Yep, ankle wings. They did give him the pointy ears.
Mhm.
They did make him a mutant. They officially said he was a mutant, which I appreciated that.
Mhm.
I did appreciate majority of the action sequences throughout this film. They were done really well and were
Mhm.
really enjoyable. And even though there's so many things about this film that were not the greatest, it still was an enjoyable film, and to some extent there were
Yeah,
still
yeah.
some favorable things about it.
Yeah.
Not
Yes,
and the mutant thing's big. It really is. It's the
That's
first
huge.
time that nobody's dropped it, right? And I said to Trevor
Second
right at that
time,
moment.
actually.
Well,
Second time, actually.
wait, no, because right, Miss Marvel, they didn't say she was a mutant. They said that there was a mutated strain.
Yes.
Right. So this is the first time we actually had anybody actually vocally declare
That's
that they
when I was
are a mutant, right? And at that point, I'm sorry, but that to me, that all I can think of that is that means we're getting closer to X-Men. Right? Why else?
Very true. Very true.
I just think to piggyback off what Cyber said, if you were looking for the most comic accurate movie, this ain't it. But if you're going to just have something to sit down and have a good time with the family, say a little bit of action here and there, and if you're not into the comic like we are, you just want to go see a movie with some action, this might be your fare. But if you're looking for something that was accurate to the comics, this ain't it.
I'd rather watch Captain Marvel than this movie.
That's saying something. Marvel was terrible.
Yeah,
that was trash.
I'd rather watch Captain Marvel and the Eternals back to back.
Hey! That's an interesting debate right there. That's a show in itself. What's worse, Eternals or Wakanda Forever?
Now let me ask you a question: would Wakanda Forever been better if it had been done as a Disney Plus series?
I don't think so.
Nah, nothing gonna save it.
If anything, it would have been more it would have been more strung up. It was Disney Plus because you'd have been more strung up if it was Disney Plus. Nah,
this is where they got more Riri.
You would got more Riri because they would have made Riri more family friendly in this, and we don't need any of Riri at all.
Nah,
boycott her.
No, instead of Brie Larson with the butt double with Riri, it's gonna be the entire actor double. You know what I'm saying?
Whole actor.
But like Riri, if you don't mind, we'd like you to just kind of just go to the side here for the rest of the day, and we're gonna bring in this other person for your scenes, but you can watch.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So that is our Black Panther Wakanda Forever review, folks out there. As always, if you enjoy us, definitely give our channel a look and subscribe. Like Mr. Jeff has said before, we are close to that 10,000 mark, so help us get to there. And of course, you guys are awesome as always. Thank you, Todd Lancaster, for coming into the comments. He said, "Hey, Jeff."
Oh, Todd's there.
And want to thank him for being in the comments. I want to thank William for coming on at the last minute. You were a valuable asset at the end, sir. You gave us a lot of great information.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And of course, plug us out, people here. Of course, if you enjoy me on here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, you can definitely check out my solo content under Cybernetic Shark. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me everywhere. I'm usually on there doing something. And I'll be having a brand new review up on Friday. See how they run reviews. So definitely check that out, people, that if you haven't. And please subscribe to my channel too as well if you get a chance to. I'm close to 500, getting to the halfway mark. And, you know, I'm about 72 away. So anybody that subscribes, thank you. And all those that have subscribed recently, thank you very much for subscribing. You guys are awesome. Of course, you know, Mr. Jeff, aka True Knowledge, you can find on everything MCU Bleeding Edge as usual. And of course, we have Mr. William here. Would you like to plug your show, sir?
Before I do, I just want to say very, very quickly, rest in peace to Jason David Frank, Green Ranger, White Ranger, Red Ranger, Black Ranger. Rest in peace, my friend. You can catch me on the Geek Gauntlet podcast every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We talk about everything, comics, anime, anything down in the world of geek. We got you covered. Definitely come check us out. 10 p.m. Eastern, the Geek Gauntlet podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Excellent. Yes, people. So definitely check out that awesome show. It's always a great show. He always has great panels. They're always fun to listen to, and all the information they talk about, it's always very knowledgeable too. So I always find it very fun. So definitely check that out, people. Jeffrey, before we sign up, was there anything you'd like to say, sir?
Well, Saturday Night Shark will not be there on Friday for Andor episode 5 review, but it is my birthday. It is my first ever birthday edition of the show. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do to make it special, but I'll do something.
In his birthday suit.
Yeah, I mean it won't be at the level of Riri Williams or or Suri or anything like that. Unfortunately, sadly, but at the same time, I'll do something interesting, and I'll have some good guests on. And Andor's been going good. It's been solid. We've been enjoying it. Episode 5 was going to be great. If anything, William, man, I love you so much, brother. I'm not even happy with the amount of time you got on here, bro. So I got to make sure I get you on the show again soon so I can have you on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair to give you enough time.
Well, we finished up everything, and I saw you were still on, so I decided to pop through.
Well, hey, we have got some Marvel stuff coming up. We do. To kind of close out the year and probably also start to the beginning of the year. And we got Willow going down. Cybernetic Shark has convinced me that it's going to be a life-changing experience for me to review the Willow series, right? So
I never said that, people. I never said that.
So I'm going all in. I trust Cyber so much that when he tells me that, I need to cover some shit, hey.
Here we go. We got covered.
I'm in, baby. I'm in.
I'm
all about it. And, worst case scenario, I'm a nice guy. So just like when just give me shitty head and I just smile the whole time anyway, if Willow sucks, I'll just be like, you know what? This will be me. I'll just do that the whole time. You know what I'm saying? It'll be good. No, I'm sure Willow's going to be great. And besides that, hey, I don't know how you feel about it, William, but you guys don't do you don't do Phase 4 recap shows and stuff, do you?
We've done a few here and there. Back in the early days. I have another show that we do on Geek News Now, called A Really Good Podcast. We do a lot of that on. The next installment of that show will be next week. On Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Believe it or not, we're doing all three of the first 3 Marvel Avengers movies. So we'll definitely be reviewing those and going over those. So if you want to join us for that, you're more than welcome.
Wow, man. You're going to review all 3 fucking Avengers films in one show?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. We're going to attempt to, I should say attempt, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Hey, man. That sounds like
that will be fun.
That sounds like a Herculean task to me, bro. You better be prepared.
Too much for Jeff's brain.
No, I hope you're going to be ready to be cutting some mics off and shit during the show and whatnot. Seriously. But no, folks, honestly, we're going to be covering some MCU. We're going to have some great ranking shows. We're going to have some Phase 5, Phase 6 preview shows coming up and whatnot and everything, right? We are. And so it'll be fun. And in the meantime, we're also, I have not told this yet, Cyber yet, but I have linked up with somebody to do the X-Men animated series. It is coming, baby. It is not yet fully planned.
The one from the 90s?
Yes. Yes. We're going to review it.
I might have to come around for that.
We're going to review it. Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna interconnect it with another podcast team and whatnot and everything. Just like we did with Podcast of Champions. And we're going to review it. It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Okay.
Me and Cyber have been wanting to do some animated shit for a while. Now we're going to do some.
That's a good way to get started.
Yep. And we got some DC coming up, some stuff coming too.
Cool.
Yep. And now that we got James Gunn in there, baby, hey, you never know, bro. After Wakanda Forever, I might have to switch over.
Waiting on the next season of Young Justice, even as we speak.
No, I'm out, Cyber. That's all I got to say. The last thing I want to plug would be my mom and dad, Ron and Dawn Slobode. I love you guys. You're great parents. My sister and brother, Alice and Marissa, my daughter Isabella, my son Trevor, whose immediate reaction to Black Panther Wakanda Forever was, "This is terrible, Dad." Good job, Trevor. You were very, very logical with that. He's also growing his first mustache right now, which is very interesting too. And always a good sign. Cyber, thank you very much, sir, as always, for doing a great job moderating and tolerating my bullshit, as always. I know it's difficult. I'm a difficult person, and and all that. So thank you very much for being so patient with me. At the same time, Wakanda Forever. I think you should delete it. Probably just delete it.
Real quick before we go. Shout out to Gal Gadot. Shout out to Elizabeth Olsen. Shout out to Scarlett Johansson. And that'd be it for me.
Shout out. Yeah.
And you forgot about somebody. You forgot about somebody important from the She-Hulk Disney Plus series. The Monica Rambeau Award recipient. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh no, I ain't giving her no shout out.
No. The real recipient, the star of the show.
Who?
Come on now. You know. Who's always got a drink in her hand? Who's Wong's best friend?
Oh,
Madeline.
There you go, baby.
Yeah.
Yep. She killed it, baby. She got the Monica Rambeau Award, bro.
Hell, she was the best part of the show.
That's it, man. Honestly, without her, I would have killed myself.
She was the best part of it. She kept you interested in the show in the later episodes, man.
I wanted to hang out with her.
She made things fun. I wanted to get to know her. How are you gonna make? And I'm still trying to figure out in that show how you make Daredevil a simp. I'm just trying to figure that out. Can somebody please answer that for me?
That's another show.
Hey, anytime you find a chick that likes The Sopranos, bro, and they'll watch it with you, that's a keeper.
That's a keeper. I agree.
As far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
Anyways, folks, Cyber, William, Fandom, Jar Jar, Tuskens. We love you, baby. Peace.